Hey everybody, and welcome back to Grounds Family Farm. If you look beside me, look who is back with us.
Hey.
Yes, she's finally feeling good enough to come back with us, and we have got a surgery update for you. But first, we want to show you a few little updates. But be sure to stick around for the surgery update because we've got quite a bit of information for that. So y'all remember, we built this pen around this old chicken pen and how grown up it was, and look at it now. Did they clean that up or what? So as we showed y'all before, this was our old chicken pen and it was grown up. I'm fixing to put up a picture for you to see of it before. This is the after. The goats and sheep really cleaned this up. I mean, they did it really quick, so we had to make some other arrangements. But it is amazing, and now we're going to be able to turn it into the ultimate peacock place. I don't really know what all we got to do to get that fixed, but that's going to be the plans for this. Like I said, the biggest surprise is just how good they cleaned it up, because I didn't know it was going to be this good whenever they got done, but it's going to make it a lot easier to get clean up and deal with, because before, with all that vetch and stuff that was on the fences and all the stuff in the middle, it was going to be a pain trying to get that done. But they got it done, and since they ate it so quickly, we had to do some rearranging. We're fixing to go show you that next. Since they ate that down so quickly and they needed a little more room than what they had, what we did is we've taken their pen, we've opened it up over here, and they can get in all of this ground over here. So the space that they can get in is in a lot bigger area. We moved the breast chickens out of here, and like I said, you can see they've got tons of grass, and they're really happy, but we had to move them all back over here since they ate all that down. But so far so good. Everybody seems happy, getting along. Blizzard's here doing his job.
He is doing great. And he really has attached to the young sheep.
Yes, he's always laying down, bedded down with the sheep, and they like him. The bigger sheep, the white sheep in Blizzard, haven't quite come to an understanding yet. If they see him, they still try to bully him around, and they've kind of got their bluff in on him, but he's doing pretty good. But like I said, they can still get into all the area that they were in before, get to the shelters and all that. But like I said, they've got a lot more grass they can get to now. So it's just really nice. And like I said, saves a lot of mowing too once they get it ate down. I mean, there's so much grass, it's going to take them a long time. And they may not be able to keep up with it. I may still have to come out here and mow the tops of it down. And that's fine too. But we're just pretty happy with how it turns out. We'll go down here and check out Betty's nursing the little piglets right now. I don't want to go up there too close, or they may take off.
Come on, buddy.
Look at that. They're just going to town eating.
They're getting big too.
Yes. Won't be long, we'll have to wean them.
They've been going all around the pasture too.
Yes.
They are getting around really well.
Yep. Yeah, they're doing really well. There's all the donkey stuff. We're fixing to feed them. So there's two of the little sheep. The two little girls.
Carmel, you just ate,
I guess
baby. You just ate.
The other two sheep are up there with the others in the little pen. Oh, there's Rose checking things out.
Hey, Rosie.
Oh, Blizzard.
Blizzard, don't eat that.
He's trying to steal my selfie stick. So everything's doing really good. Like I said, we just want to show you a little update of how good they got that pen cleaned up, and then what we did over here, because like I said, where they were, we were having to still feed them some hay because there just wasn't enough grass in there for all of them. But we got the idea to close this off and just open it all up to them, and so far it's been a good idea.
Yes, for sure.
And they seem to be super happy about it. But now that we showed you a little update of the animals, we're fixing to drop to the update on the surgery. So stick around for that. Hey everybody, so here's the update everybody's been waiting for. We gave an update on one video about the process at the hospital, everything that went on there, and we've had several people asking how she's doing now and what's been going on. It's been 2 weeks and 3 days since she had the operation, and she's doing quite a bit better, but we've also, the last video took off a lot more than what we were expecting, and it brought up a lot of questions and concerns from different ones who had viewed it that made us think a little bit more about everything that happened at the hospital and the processes there. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but first we're going to let Kimberly kind of tell you how she's doing, the process that's been going on with her since she got out of the hospital up until now.
So left the hospital after being in there for 2 days. Came home and I was pretty weak and still having a lot of pain at that point. I could not really walk around more than just a little bit in the house without feeling dizzy, without feeling just overly tired and feeling like my head weighed a ton. And I'd have to go sit back down, lay down, something. And I wasn't really safe to be, up walking around by myself too much. So he was having to do a lot for me, and the kids were having to help me with everything. And after the first 3 or 4 days, I guess, I was able to start walking around a little bit outside with supervision. We do have steps leading into the house, so I was having to really be watched on those too, because I couldn't bend my head to look down and actually see where my feet were. But I started trying to walk a little bit outside, mostly on the driveway, because of course the ground is a little unlevel in places. But I've been gradually trying to increase my walking distance a little bit as I've gotten a little steadier and the dizziness has decreased some. I started out just walking a partial lap on the driveway and then one lap for a couple days, and just kind of increasing the number of laps and even adding a little bit in the yard as, felt like I could, and had somebody there with me, either the girls or Kevin or whatever, just to make sure that, I'm not going to fall, because it would be horrible to have to go through this again. Honestly, the pain was really improving about the 5-day mark or so. But I had a little bit of issue with my ears being full of fluid. I did have to go to the doctor for that, and he prescribed me something that would help with that. But wasn't to the point of an infection or anything, but because everything was swollen, it made the fluid back up in my ears, and my eustachian tubes were very, very swollen. So I couldn't really hear that well for a little bit. I also was dealing with some nasal drainage and stuff. So I think that kind of impacted my balance and dizziness some.
Probably didn't help for sure.
Yeah. And I've been trying to kind of work a little bit of range of motion in my neck, because the doctor did say that I could start moving my neck as tolerated, as long as I didn't do any like jerky movements or anything. So the range of motion's gotten a lot better, and I've been trying to kind of move my right hand some more, because I can actually feel my right hand now. I couldn't feel it before surgery, at least some of my fingers. And so I have a lot of weakness in my right hand. I'm left-handed, so that is a blessing. But I need my right hand too, so at least I can keep working on that. I mean, I know what to do since physical therapy is my field. But it's just a process overall, and I'm not able to lift, push, pull more than 10 pounds until I go back to see the doctor toward the middle to end of June. I can't bend over. He's not allowing me to drive. So there's still quite a few restrictions, but I'm working around it, and they're really wonderful to help me. So that's been really great. But now I can actually walk around a little bit. I've been to the store a couple times just for brief periods. I'm done okay with that. Just if I walk too much, I still get a little dizzy. So he checks on me a lot to make sure that that's not an issue.
Yeah, she's doing a lot better, but she's still not, like I said, she still has all the restrictions that she had before, and she's still not 100%. Like the Gator, we're sitting on it mainly because it's a comfy seat. I drove it over here, then she walked over here. She's still not up to riding around, bumps and all that mess. Haven't got her back taking care of the animals yet, but hopefully that won't be too much longer.
I know.
No, the girls have been a great help with that. We may do a video later, kind of their whole perspective of everything that's gone on. Probably a short clip for them.
Yeah.
But they have really picked up and have helped a lot.
Oh, they have.
She's definitely getting stir crazy, but the thing is, she's stir crazy, but she doesn't feel good enough to go out and do anything. And so I'm like, it's kind of like a catch-22. I mean, either you just got to be happy being stuck here, or you got to stand the pain to go. And so we've mainly been here. Like I said, we've been out twice. The first time we got it, well, no, 3 times, but first time was to the doctor whenever her ears were messed up.
Yeah.
And then the next time was 3 days ago when she actually went and had the staples removed.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor, well, the nurse said whenever she got that 2 weeks that she could just go locally to have those removed. I tried to get her to let me remove them because I found the little tool to do it on Amazon is only like $5. I was like, no problem. But there was 28 staples in the back of her head and neck
Yeah.
that she had removed, and we went on Wednesday and had those done. It was a relatively quick process. I was surprised how quick it went.
Yeah.
But it was just a little tool that you slide up on there. When you pinch it, it pinches the staple in the middle and it makes it where the prongs pull out, and it just popped off.
Mm-hmm.
All of them went pretty good. She didn't have any issues except for the very last one.
Yeah.
And I think because it was on the base of the neck and at the bottom, it had twisted a little bit whenever they put it in, or it was at a different angle. And so he had to work a little bit to get that out. And she said that was a little painful.
Yeah, most of them I couldn't even really feel. I think I've still got some numbness back there too. Numbness but sensitivity, if that makes any sense at all. But that's the only one that felt, it was just like a little pinch. It wasn't even like real pain. So
Yeah. And then, so we got those done. And after that, we actually went to the store. It was a brief trip to get some stuff. And then today we actually had to grab some stuff. And like I said, it was another brief trip. But she does pretty good. Like I said, she tires out fairly easy. And then the longer she's up, she'll start to get dizzier and stuff. I'm not sure which one it is. But like I said, so we've been doing real brief trips, not long riding. We were in the truck today, and it rides a little rougher than the van. But with her pillow and propped up, she's doing pretty good with that.
Yep.
So that's pretty much where we are with things around here. Like I said, the main thing is just waiting until the 18th of June to see what the doctor says about how she's doing, all that. And then we'll kind of play it by ear from there. So we'll have another update once that hits of what he says, because we don't know if on that day he's going to release her from everything or if it's going to be extended longer or what the deal is. But the main thing is just getting her stamina back up walking and getting her neck loosened up.
Yes.
With the therapy, because she still is like turning her whole body for the most part. She is turning it better than what she was, but she still has a long ways to go.
I have to think about it more now too. I mean, it's a really automatic motion, but I mean, because I couldn't for so long with the
Fred. Come here, buddy.
Since I couldn't for so long with the staples, and then just, you know, how tight everything was, now I have to really think about it more, and it's not as comfortable as it could be. So
that was the other thing with the staples. The staples finally there toward the end got it where she wasn't sleeping as good at night, because laying on the staples, she has to lay on her back, propped up, and laying on the staples, they would start hurting her, and they would wake her up. So she's been getting up. She's getting up at like 5 o'clock every morning. And I mean, we'd be up late too, because she's actually able to stay awake now, which she wasn't able to do before. Used to, as soon as she sat down in a chair, she'd just be out. Wouldn't matter if it was the middle of the day, at night, or what. And now it's gotten where she's able to stay awake. She's still falling asleep some, but it's actually when it actually gets late and you should be falling asleep. But that's been better.
Yes.
Some other things that we wanted to kind of touch base on from the other video. Like I said, the initial video, I wasn't expecting, neither one of us was expecting it to do what it did, because it kind of went crazy. Got a lot of views, a lot of comments, which we appreciate, and we're thankful that everybody decided to watch it and all that good stuff. But part of the stuff was things with the hospital, because we talked about some of the issues we had there, and a lot of people were dealing with similar things, and we were shocked about that, because all the other times that any of us had been in the hospital had all been great experiences. And then this one was not so great, and it was just crazy that so many other people are dealing with that same thing. And I hate it for everybody. But some of the stuff that came up was telling us that we should talk to the patient advocate at the hospital, or some said consult a lawyer, things like that. And so what we did is, after we found out about that, because we really didn't know that was even a thing before, we Googled, found the phone number for the patient advocate at the hospital, tried to call them. They didn't answer. We left a message. They never called back. So then we decided, we're like, well, let's try again. So the phone rang and rang and rang, and she was just about to hang up, and the person answered.
Yeah.
Didn't really say that that was their position, but I mean, that was the phone number that was supposed to go to them, and
Yeah.
told them that we had some concerns about things that had gone on, and so she started taking out information. And like I said, we just gave her pretty much ran down through all the stuff we had issues with about the meals and the fact that she had a gluten intolerance. It was listed on her stuff as an allergy. I know some people were saying that the hospitals shouldn't have to deal with that, but when we got to looking, actually food allergies and stuff can fall under the ADA, so, and hospitals are bound by that by federal law.
Mm-hmm.
But even aside from that, this hospital had specific allergen menus that they gave out to patients, which would make you think that they would have things down.
Mm-hmm.
So we explained all the issues with that, about the different meals that they'd sent up that had the gluten on them and issues with those. She took that down, and she was she's very attentive and seemed concerned about the issues.
And asked questions.
Like I said, she asked tons of questions, and she was like, yeah, that should never happen. She was apologizing and things like that. And so I want to think that she means well and something will happen. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people said that even if you complain, nothing's going to happen. But we're going to hope and be optimistic about that the process will work. Don't know if it will or not, but that's going to be a story for another day when we find out. So she took down that information. So then we started giving her the problems we had with the nurse. The fact that she wasn't very attentive, no empathy, nothing like that. Wouldn't come whenever we called. Explained about the phone issue. That's another thing. Some people, whenever I used the term playing on the phone last time, I use that term loosely. Like messing with the phone, being on the phone. I'm not saying necessarily that she was playing games on her phone. I don't know what she was doing on her phone. I just know that she was spun around with her back to the computer, kicked back in the chair, doing something on her phone. Yep. And like I said, whether that was, nobody that we've talked to have said anything about that they have hospital phones and she was trying to do that. Because generally I would say that if that was the case, that's the first line of defense that they would try to do is be like, oh, she was doing work on her phone. But not a single person that we've talked to at the hospital said that. We did not see anybody else charting, doing anything like that on their phone. So I'm assuming it's her personal phone. But like I said, my thing with that is whether it is or it's not, if patient care should still come first.
Absolutely.
And so if she was just charting or something like that, that she should have been able to, or been like, hey, I'll be right there. But whenever you're saying just her not show up, that's the biggest problem. Yes. Like I said, I'm not saying necessarily that she was playing games or something on her phone, because like I said, I have no idea. I didn't go over and look at her phone because that wasn't the intent. I was just meaning she wasn't like in another patient room or busy in that aspect where she couldn't come, or where it appeared that she wouldn't be able to. And it wasn't like it was just that one time. There was multiple times I went through there because the nursing station was between us and the elevator. So I'd walk through, and there were several times that they'd just be set up, kind of ganged up in a circle, talking and doing stuff like that. And like I said, whether it was work or not, I don't know. But I just want to clarify that. I'm not necessarily saying that she was playing games on her phone. When I say playing on her phone, messing with her phone, I just mean on a phone in general. So to clear that up. But we explained that to the advocate. She took down that information. Also, we explained about the improper procedures with the IV and that whole process, how she didn't flush before she put the meds in, and how both IVs messed up, and then they didn't come in and put another one in. And it was just, we just explained that whole process. Like I said, a lot of this, if you haven't seen the first video, I'll try to put a little card or link thing on there so that you can go back and see it. That way I don't bore y'all that have seen it with the same stuff twice. But pretty much all those problems I addressed in the first one, we explained to the advocate. She took down all the information, and like I said, she's very apologetic. She's like, she was going to forward it to the different heads that it should go to that would deal with those separate issues, and that we should hear something back next week. So don't really know what will happen with that or what they're going to do about that, but like I said, she said she was going to send it to the right people and that we'd hear something next week. So we're just going to wait for that process to work. If we don't hear anything next week, we'll probably actually wait till the next week to call, just in case they got busy or something. But we'll probably follow up with that. And if not, then at the very latest, then we'll be back up there on the 18th for her post-op follow-up. And if we have to, we'll go over and see if we can talk to somebody then if we still haven't heard anything. Like I said, I'm hoping the way she was acting that we will hear something. But like I said, hearing some of the stories that we've had in the comments, it makes me a little leery that we might not, but
Yeah.
it's going to be. And then another thing that a few people had touched on is that we had a couple of negative things that said that we were just trying to get out of the bill. The thing is the day we got there at 5:30, they gave us the bill then, and they had a sign that all the co-pays and everything was due the morning of surgery, so we already paid that in full.
Yep.
So that has nothing to do with any of this. And like I said, initially we figured that video would just be amongst our normal subscribers, and we had several people that were concerned and wanted an update about what had happened, and so that's what that was all about. But like I said, it has nothing to do with that. We're just telling the story of what happened, and it was not all positive like we initially thought it would be.
And we don't want this to happen to anybody else either. So, I mean, it's a good thing to follow up. And one thing the lady kept repeating was, if we don't know about this, then we can't correct any problems that we have.
Correct.
So,
yeah, she seemed to be glad that, I mean, like they want to try to do better and change things. So we're hoping that that's the ultimate goal, is it does happen to somebody else. Because had it been somebody else that didn't have other people with them, like other family or something, or if they weren't lucid enough to be like, hey, I need to check the labels on this stuff, and they had a food allergy or something like that, I mean, they might have ate the stuff and got sick or anything. I mean, you just never know. And the biggest thing with the gluten intolerance with her is it caused stomach stuff, and that was one thing the doctor said. She doesn't need to do anything that's going to strain the back of her neck, and vomiting, cramps, and stuff like that would be stuff that would affect that.
Yes.
And that was the main issue with that. It's not that she just chooses to not eat gluten. It makes her sick.
Yes, physically ill for between 5 and 7 or 8 days.
Yeah, that one time when you got it bad, it was even longer. It was almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So that was the main thing with that, is just do that. And like I said, I just assumed that since they had an allergen menu, that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But that's clearly not the case. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully they'll do some education on it. Because we have found over time there's so much stuff that has gluten in it that you would never expect.
Oh, my word.
Like my biggest surprise is cooking spray.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like some of the off-brand cooking sprays have a wheat thing on them. And so I never would have guessed that before, because, I mean, who would have thought, why would you put wheat in cooking spray?
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean, I guess it is what it is. But
yeah.
So that's the deal with that. Like I said, the next major update will be if we hear something back from the advocate or the hospital.
Yes.
And if not, then it will probably be after her appointment on the 18th.
Yes.
Like I said, if we have something here and there, I mean, a lot of the stuff, whenever we have lives during the middle of the week, we usually have one live a week. Mm-hmm. And on that, if you want to try to find out new stuff, or if you have questions, that's the best place to get it.
Yeah.
We've tried to answer most comments that's been left, but sometimes whenever somebody replies to a comment, it doesn't always notify us, so we may miss some. And there's some, I mean, on this one, there was just so many, it was hard to keep up with.
We tried to answer them all, but I know we probably missed a few.
Yeah. And a lot of them, if it was like a repeat thing, we might not have got it either, because it was just, like I said, a lot of it was the same questions they're saying, but a lot of them was just comments telling their stories too and the issues that they've had. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, but we appreciate y'all doing that, because we like to hear what's going on with other people too.
Yes.
Like I said, I wished it was all positive, but it was shocking that how many other people have issues too, and it just shows that our healthcare system needs some major reform.
For sure.
But the other thing with the advocate that we made sure we did is we told her all the nurses and people that were really great that we dealt with too.
Yes.
Because every other nurse except for the one was great to deal with.
Amazing,
like I said, the ICU and the floor nurses, they were all great.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell, like I said, the night shift after the issues with the first nurse, they were a little apprehensive, but they did great, and it was a good experience. Amazing, and then the next day, that nurse was great also. Mm-hmm. And then we also told them about the tech that was great too, and how great of a job she did, and all the things that she did to go above and beyond, and made sure that we wanted to let them know that not only were we just worried about the negatives, but I mean the ones who are going above and beyond need to be recognized too, because one bad apple, I know it's the saying, one bad apple spoils the bunch, but that's not necessarily the case, but it can.
Yes.
Because if all they're doing is getting beat down over the bad stuff that certain ones are doing, then that can make good employees become discouraged too. And so we want to make sure that they put something good in their file or say something to them for the ones who did great too. Because like I said, we had a
Yes.
lot of great people too. It wasn't
Definitely.
all bad, but like I said, generally any reviews you see, I mean, the bad's what people remember the most.
Mhm.
Like I said, we remember the most, I mean, we remember both, but
Yes.
the bad stands out on
Mhm.
stuff that people generally remember. But we had
Yeah.
a lot of great care, but like I said, we had some bad too. And it may be good that they find out sooner than later before something
Yes.
serious happens and somebody
Definitely.
ends up getting really bad hurt or even
Mhm.
worse than that.
Yeah.
The other thing too that some people had some questions about was the fact that we said it was the name tag was RN resident. Did some research. This specific hospital, newly graduated nurses, they send them through like a residency program, and with that they rotate them through all the shifts and train them in all the different aspects, kind of like a field training program for their
Mhm.
newly graduated nurses to kind of give them hands-on training and stuff of how the hospital does
Yeah.
stuff, their protocols and things like that. So it wasn't like a doctor residency where she was trying to become a doctor. I mean, she was a freshly graduated nurse who was just learning the other stuff. They just, I don't know how freshly graduated because I think that program, I think it said it was like a year long.
Yeah, because this is a specific hospital that they only handle neuro type. At least where the part where I was, they only handle neurological type cases and surgeries.
Yeah, they're a specialized
Yes.
hospital.
So I'm sure that's probably why they have this specific program, because they do want to train them to handle the specific type of cases that they're going to be dealing with.
Yeah. So that's what the update is for now. Everything's been going on since she got out up until now. We'll definitely keep y'all updated on what else is going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, the main thing is whenever we hear back from the advocate of the hospital, whoever calls us back, we don't know who that'll be, but
Yeah.
we're looking forward to that. And whenever we hear something from that, we'll definitely do another update.
Yes.
If you have any questions in between, you can leave a comment or jump on one of our lives whenever we have it, and you'll be able to actually ask us in real time. We'll answer them there on the spot. Okay, so that's pretty much the update of everything's been going on with us from the time she got out of the hospital up until now.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot's been going on except for getting the staples out of her head. The next biggest update will be whenever we hear something back from the hospital or when she has her post-op appointment. Whichever one happens first,
Yeah.
we'll have that. But we appreciate you watching. We appreciate all your support, prayers, and all that. And it's definitely helped because she's doing great compared to where she
Yes.
was when she started. Still has a long road ahead, but we're on the right path.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time on Grounds Family Farm. Bye.
Bye, guys.